Hey there viewers, it's Charlie. I'm back again with another Transformers review. And today I shall review the infamous Armada Hot Shots. Oh boy. Now, well, if you know anything about this guy, this was one of the most hated figures of Armada, along with Sideswipe. And this guy's hated for a lot of reasons. I mean, for one, people complain about the shade of yellow being used. And yeah, on camera it does look pretty bright, but in person it's not as bright as the camera would have you believe. Yeah, cameras are weird. But while having a look at the actual figure, as we can see, the hubcaps on the wheels actually have these red dots on them. I'll show that on this side as well. You see, got these little red dots on them. But with this wheel specifically, it's much smaller. Because, yeah, that is a missile. I'll show what that's for in robot mode. We're having a look on the back. We can see a visible head. Because, of course, got these little tail lights here. Nicely painted. And yeah, there are bits of red in this, guys. There are tons of red bits. For example, the hubcaps, as I've noted, the tail lights, the minicom ports, and even the Ultron insignia. Yeah, going back to the robot head, like, say he was being chased by a Decepticon, and like the Decepticon just fired a missile or a laser and it hit right here. That would just kill Hotshot. It would destroy his head. So it's not a clever idea exposing your head in vehicle mode. I'm looking at you, Ironhide from Energon. Having a look at the front bit, we can see the windshield. Got some front detailing with more bits of red. And I got this little engine bay. As you can see, it looks like there's something that's broken off and stuck in there. Well, you'll see what that is in a couple minutes. Having a look at the underneath of the figure, we can see what looks like a little latch, and that's because this entire rear axle is part of a minicon gimmick in robot mode, which I'll show later on. But other than that, there's just no robot kibble chunk stuff underneath, aside from, well, the legs here. But well, at least the head's not showing because it's actually it's showing at the back. But that's not it for the vehicle mode. Of course, this is Armada. So we have the minicon. And here we have this red helicopter named Jolt. So yeah, pretty much just a red helicopter. Visible stuff underneath, of course. Propellers do spin, although on my one it's a bit wobbly. Okay, that's enough. But well, Jolt can integrate with Hotshot in vehicle mode. So if you just attach Jolt onto there, you can actually fold this back. And then you can integrate this gun bit. And as you can see, there's a bit broken off and it's in there. So you have to take care when removing this gun. But the gun just goes in here. And here we have Hotshot in his, I guess, attack mode. But yeah, pretty much, I guess this allows them to go faster, and this allows them to shoot at Decepticons. Yeah, I don't know. But if I just remove Jolt, if I can, because sometimes these ports can be rather tight. there is another gimmick with the gun. If you get the gun in there and you push it down, it flips out these chainsaws. To be honest, this is something the Mask toy line from Kenner would do. Like, have flip out weapons. Because these chainsaws, I mean, what are they gonna do? Run it into the Decepticons and cut their feet off? But yeah. That's pretty much it for the vehicle mode. Although I do have some comparisons to make. First up, here we have Armada hotshots. With the hotshot that came after him, Energon hotshot. And keep in mind, these guys are supposed to be the same character. It's just that this guy chronologically was 10 years after, or well, in fiction, 10 years after, and Twilight was 1 year after. But as you can see, Energon hotshot's shade of yellow is much more dull. And well, difference is the hubcaps are different. There's no more red. The windshield is actually visible. The visible engine is only, well, visible if you open this. The back doesn't have the head showing. The spoiler is smaller and it's black instead of yellow. And the underneath shows the head instead of the legs. Not to mention, this guy transforms in a very different way to this guy. But next up, here we have Cybertron Excellion. And the reason I'm comparing these guys is because this guy's a recolor of Cybertron Hotshot, just in red instead of blue, because Cybertron Hotshot was a blue color instead of yellow. And as you can see, Cybertron Hotshot or Excellion looks way more streamlined. Once again, the head's not showing in the back. There's no red hubcaps. The spoilers, well, the spoilers technically integrated into the cyber key mechanism. And once again, interior is visible. Although the underneath, that's where we see the head. And having a look at the three together, this is pretty much a Unicron Trilogy hotshots right here. Technically, because, as I said, this guy is technically a different character, but he's a recolor of Cybertron hotshots. But, well, to get this guy transformed, well, it's rather unique. So I'll just raise my camera, and unlike my previous review, Demolisher, try not to break my Lego stand. But to start, come in here, take the door section and just flip that around and cover the front wheel, pretty similar to a smokescreen. Come in here and try and lift up the windshield section and just flip that around and, oh, I forgot something. You're also supposed to move these bits up as well. Turn these bits around to show his hands. Come in here, split this, and well, you can also do the gun to do this bit. Well, I'll say that again. Well, you normally can use the gun for this bit. What you can do is you can just flip the chainsaws out yourself. There we go. So you can either use your fingers or the gun. But these actually form his feet. Move these bits down and fold out his elbows. And as you can see, he's got a little visor here. Lift that up. And here we have Hotshot in his robot mode. Yeah, this is another reason people hate this guy. But I'll get into that once I show the 360. As you can see, he has a minicom port right on his fanny. But well, having a look at the head, yeah, that's a bit weird looking, isn't it? I mean, his mouth is just open as if he's got a dull surprise face. But, well, yeah, it's just not that pleasant to look at. And the Powerlink retool actually does make his face look better, at the cost of the visor not being able to flip down it. But, come on, does anybody really display Hotshot like this? Now for Jolt's transformation, well, coming here, I like to flip this section around first to get the propellers out of the way for when I flip the legs around. And if you do it like this, then all you have to do is just move the propeller section back. Although the actual transformation is just supposed to be this. Flip this section around while the display stays in place, and then just move the back section around. Like, this joint is just for the transport mode. Although I like to integrate it into the transformation, just to get the propellers out of the way when I'm trying to flip around the legs. But here we have Jolt's robot mode. I mean, his head looks like power glides. The propellers can still spin around. And he does have trouble standing if you don't balance him correctly. Although that's only if you don't balance him correctly, as I said. We're getting this guy into his alternate mode again for the gimmick later on. And, oh, I forgot. The articulation is his arms move around. But going in for Hotshot's articulation, it's pretty shitty. Head, nothing whatsoever. Arms, they don't move up whatsoever, although sure, he can T-pose, but that's just because of the transformation. He does have elbows, and they do swivel around, but again, due to the transformation, it's no waist. And the legs, they can move back that far, don't go up that much. And he does sort of have a knee, but that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, the articulation is pretty depressing and embarrassing. I mean, Christ, that's some G1 figures who have better articulation than this. But, well, see, of course, this is Armada, so we need to do the gimmicks. I mean, for one, the gun, technically it can attach onto a Jolt. Although, put the wrong pegs here. There we go. The gun can attach on, although that looks a bit silly. And of course it just flies off camera. But another thing that you can do is put the gun up here with like some chest armor. Again, why not? But that's not how I display it. But the main gimmick with Hotshot, take Jolt, come around to the minicom port right on his arse. Plug that in, and that's supposed to flip this entire section around. Then move Jolt upwards. I'll have to do this sideways. And this bit turns and he fires a missile at you. Now, I found that you don't even need the minicom for this to work. Yeah, if you don't have Jolt with you, all you can do is just pop the latch here, and then just move the Minicom port up by hand, and yeah, you don't even need the Minicon. And well, this is why he doesn't have voice articulation. This entire spinning axle gimmick. But as I try to find the missile, it's time for the comparison. Just let me find the missile first. Okay now, so here we have Energon Hotshot, and as you can see, they do look rather different in robot modes. I mean, different head designs. Energon Hotshot actually has wings, and the legs look different. The transformation is even different, because while Armada Hotshot has the front of the vehicle form as legs, Cybertron Hotshot just has it as an entire backpack. So yeah, even though they're both named Hotshot and they're supposed to be the same character, they do look rather different. Next up, Excellion, or Cybertron Hotshot if you will. And once again, they do look rather different. I mean, this Hotshot actually has good articulation. Well, this Hotshot mold has better articulation. It has a better looking head. Plus, it actually has a fun transformation compared to this guy. And as you can see, the front of the vehicle is now his shoulders. And if we have all three Hotshot molds together, so yeah, what an evolution, eh? But well, that's pretty much all I have to say about this guy. Complaints? Where do I even begin? I mean, for one, the articulation leaves a lot to be desired, because his head doesn't move, his arms don't move that much, his waist doesn't move. Plus, sure, he does T-pose pretty well, although, oh, he does do the T-pose and the splits pretty well. I forgot to show the splits earlier. But you still need to move your arm up to aim at opponents. Which reminds me, another gripe. This guy doesn't hold the gun that well. So either you have to leave it on his chest, or what I do, see how there's a Minicom port here? Just attach it to one of his shoulders. Another thing, if you don't have Jolt balance correctly, he doesn't stand that well. So you sort of have to awkwardly lean him forwards. And even then, it's very easy to knock him over. Another gripe, I just think the face is a bit weird looking. And, well, they did definitely fix it with the later Hotshot figures, and even the Power Links retool, which, to be honest, I should have gotten instead of this guy, but oh well. I also find that big axle gun thing pretty overkill. I mean, not only did he have to attach a helicopter onto his rear end for it to work, but, well, it's pretty much what compromised his head and waist articulation. Hell, maybe his arm articulation as well. So, do I recommend this guy? No. Not, only if you absolutely want this guy. But, to be honest, you'd either have to be a completionist, someone who likes Armada, or just completely brain dead if you really want this guy. The only reason I would see anybody wanting to get this guy is if they were collecting Armada or trying to complete or have a complete Unicron Trilogy collection. For me, I only bought this guy because, well, I'm part of the I like collecting Armada circle, pretty much. But yeah, unless you really want to get this guy, avoid this guy like the plague. If you want a hotshot figure, go for the Cybertron guy. Or if you must, maybe just go with the Universe figure. Although, seeing how I don't have that one, I can't really comment on it, but just only get this guy if you absolutely must have him. But to be honest, why would you want him badly? Well, this has been my review on Armada Hotshot and Jolt. And this is Charlie Young, signing off.